Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, welcome back to AUSF1 Tier 1. My name is Ash and I will jump in a party so no one in-game can hear me. But we welcome you back to AUSF1 Tier 1. Here at Suzuka, things are tightening up in the midfield in the overall constructors. Definitely a battle to watch out for. P2 Red Bull running not Red Bull Racing Bulls running away with that P1 spot, but the battle for P2 between Sauber, between Haas, I think Ferrari might be in there, Aston Martin might be in there, is very much tightening up. It is a measly 30 points between Sauber and Ferrari, between P2 and P5. Red Bull not far off Ferrari either, and 30 points is all it takes for a win. But we will jump on board with GLX Cam as he starts his lap, as I continue to talk about the Tier 1 Championship. Websy leads by 31 points over SFR Finn's words. Websy's been fairly dominant all season, but Finn's is starting to call back after a win at Kota, where it turned from dry to wet very late in the race last week, where he was able to crawl back a 9-second deficit in the rain and take home victory. And in the Tier 1 team standings, it is Red Bull on 273 points, V-Carbon second on 207, and then it tapers away quite quickly, 169, 157, 125, 97, 87, 71, 49, 42, all the way down to Williams in P10. But from the little I've been watching of Cam's lap, it seems like he is going quite alright for himself. He will be that benchmark time on the board, looking to improve on McLaren's P7 position in the tier 1 constructors, and P8 in the overalls. A fall from grace for ADOG 92's team, as he has fallen from P1 to P8 from the end of last season to 7 rounds in this season, as Cam invalidates going through the chicane. Expect him to come into the pits. Now he continues. What lap time would he have set? A 1:28.1. We'll see what Farmer Sam can respond to that. I don't think he'll know what the lap time is. I'll see if there's anyone closer. No, Farmer Sam is the closest driver. Aussie 2K Goat behind him, also on a hot lap, but Farmer Sam will cross the line first. Will ride with the fill-in Haas team principal after his teammate Martin stepped down. But I'm sure Farmer Sam will have a lot of his sights set on that P2 overall constructor's position, only 6 points off Sauber, who have one driver, and that one driver is on a qualifying ban, so they'll be looking to step it up tonight. But Farmer Sam coming through the Casio Triangle now. He won't have the most areas to work with to the line, but I'm sure he'll be able to use it very wisely as he takes that short line through a 28 flat, nearly a 28 or 1, similar to what Cam said, but Cam did invalidate, so maybe again a bit of time in doing that. Invalidated for both laps, unfortunately for himself, and he won't have fuel to continue. So we will ride at dawn with Sir Joshy 27.3. That is a very tidy lap there from the driver who currently sits P3. Who we were with before? I think we were with not Websy, it was Mash Jr. Apologies, but he's had a major moment. I'm curious as to what happened with him. So we'll run down to HRT Martin, see what he can do. He'll get the little wafts of a toe. He's on the medium compound tyres though, so we'll switch to Zox, who will set a more respectable lap time. Already running a bit low on fuel, so possibly underfueled the car coming out of the pit lane, but it will give him a tiny advantage, and he uses that to slot into P2, 27.547, 5 tenths, nearly 6 tenths ahead of Farmer. I believe he actually is 6 tenths ahead of Farmer Sam, maybe 5 tenths. Can't be asked doing the math right now. but we will ride with Websy, our currently leading the T1 Championship, looking to extend that lead over SFR Fins. Websy invalidates. I was about to say Fins yet to set a lap. He's on an hour lap right on the tail of Mash Jr. I don't know if Mash Jr. is going to be setting another lap time. Possibly. He's up though. So he might have been saving battery to dump on these straights. So we'll ride with Mash Jr. He'll be the next driver to cross the line. So we'll see what the new V-Carb driver can produce in his second race for the outfit, donning the number 5 of Sebastian Vettel, and a bit of snap coming out of Spoon, possibly running a bit too wide, touching that curb a little too much, but Mash Jr. looking to improve up into the 28th, preferably the 27th, 7/10 up through Sector 2, but his major mistake came here where he backed out quite quickly. He's still got a lot of battery left, so I think he's going to go on another push lap. No, he's coming into the pit, so we might just ride with for a full lap with SFR Fins, our current championship challenger. 70% battery to start the lap as HRT Martin retires. I believe that is him crashing at pit entry. 28.6 will be his qualifying time. But Fins sliding it through the S's, sticking it right on those inside curbs, making the track as short as possible while carrying as much speed as possible, revving out that engine, which actually quite helps. It gives you better rotation and it makes sure you don't go too wide. As he goes flat out through the first Degner curve, under the bridge, 50% ERS. We're going to slam on the brakes where that little orange bollard is before the hairpin, near where the curb starts. Now, on the run down to Spoon, he'll use a little bit of fuel here. He'll probably run out on the in-lap actually, as he's just slipped under a lap of fuel, but slamming on the brakes well after the 50-meter board, and he's gone off track. And rejoining there's always tough, and he's sent it sideways. So he'll back out of this, and he won't have fuel to continue. So that is his first qualifying run vetoed. GLX Cam setting a 128.1 on his first lap. That was invalid. So he will be looking to follow that up. Verk in front. He should be on an in-lap. He's got no fuel left at all. But Cam running through the S's, using as much track as he can to maintain that minimum speed as he prepares to throw it into the Degner curves. Do we see a lift, or does he go flat out, downshift in a gear, slamming on the brakes at the end of that curve, throwing it with that little banking into Degner 2. Now up to hairpin, looking for that bollard on the right, slamming on the brakes just after that, absolutely throwing the car into the hairpin. A little bit of camber there to assist you in turning that car left onto the, it's not really straight, more of the curve heading towards Spoon. He doesn't want to go wide like Fins does, and he successfully avoids that out on the exit. Here's a tricky spot, but he has maintained that well, and he will now have a bit of battery to work with down this back straight as he approaches 130R, easily flat out since about 2000, as he prepares to slam on the brakes at the 100-meter board by the looks of it, riding those curbs. He hasn't invalidated like he did last lap, but oh no, that's not ideal. So, he won't set a qualifying time as he throws it into the pit wall. Mash Jr. outlap Sir Joshy on an actual lap, so we will ride with him as he has just started. Riding through the S's like GLX Cam did, not using as much track, opting to get back over to the right to make that run through Dunlop a little bit smoother, as he now throws it through the second deck. No apologies, was just checking something. Once again, looking for that orange bollard, looking to use the camber of this turn, running a little bit wide there. I feel like he could have done a bit better. We'll see. Is his delta green once we turn off the telemetry. Seems like he doesn't have a delta at all, which is quite odd by the looks of it, but he is definitely pushing on this lap, running all the way wide. He doesn't spin it like some other drivers have, and he will continue down. He was slightly down on the first sector. Can he regain some momentum here? No. About half a tenth, a little less off. He needs a mega chicane here. If he wants to improve that less, we might see him pull into the pits. Does he hit the wall? No, he stays nice and tight. Doesn't hit the wall. Take note, Cam. 27.328. Able to find a 10th in that chicane. And he will improve to a 27.328 from a 27.387. So we'll go with Apollo Pepsi here. He has not got much airtime this season. As Mash Jr. 27.2. That is definitely a benchmark. As Apollo Pepsi invalidates, I'm sure Verk had coordinated toe and everything for him. He would have gained quite a bit of time there, but unable to take advantage, invalidating, going out of spring curve. Do we see the favour reciprocated by Apollo Pepsi? No, Verk staying well in front. I think we'll see Apollo come into the pit lane. So, can we find anyone else? Is that Daniel Starr on a lap? No, that is Scotty on an out lap. But Websy will set his first official lap time of the session, sticking nice and close to the wall. Battery absolutely drained. Only P4 for Websy. And this Aston Martin V-car battle at the top of the grid is looking like it's going to be quite nice indeed. KLX, he was up 3/10 through Sector 2. Can he hold that through the chicane? Looking to improve from a 28 flat. He does, a 27.8 for KLX. That puts him up into P5 from P6. It's a big improvement, but not much in the terms of places on the leaderboard. And he is still over 4/10 off Websy in front. This top four really in a league of their own. I think we'll see Aussie 2K go come into the pit lane here. Daniel Starr. Daniel Starr ended up invalidating Verk, had set up a toe for Apollo Pepsi, but he invalidated Spoon. He learned from Apollo's mistakes. He's able to continue towards 130R. What can Verk spit up? 5/10 above his delta. That would put him into P10. He'll be looking to find more time into the chicane, into second gear, maybe short shifting up into third for traction. No, he's able to manage it quite well. 100 metres to DRS. DRS open, overtake to the line. 7/10. That is P9 by 1 millisecond over HRT Martin, who will not beat him because he DNF'd. So, Scotty, a 130.264 from the pick number 7, is race pace, famously good fins, uncharacteristically low, with a 130.9 in P13. He comes in and pits, so he had not set a good enough lap time for him to go around, or maybe it was his plan to come into the pits anyways. So, we now await the final runs in qualifying. We wait for the Daniel Starr and Scotty to come into pits. Daniel Starr won't have fuel, so I doubt he continues, but he is burning battery, so maybe he's just making a push to get back to the pit lane. Ever curious situation, because if he finishes this lap, he won't get another lap in. Is he up on his delta? He is. Does Daniel Starr take that 4/10 jump up, possibly into the top 10, getting away from his teammate Scotty a little bit more, even though he already has a 1.2 second buffer? No, he's backed out of it. He's had a big slide, and he loses all that time, and he stays out for nothing. Daniel Starr throwing away that last run like it was a bag full of coal as Verk retires in the pit lane. He won't get back out for another run as Daniel Starr gets out of the way of Aussie 2K Goat on his outlap. But that is not ideal for Dan Starr. Scotty, he is on a lap, so I reckon he's fueled up for a couple. and we'll see how he is able to take on this challenge, threading it through Dunlop, flashing on, flashing on the light, but still in hot lap, as we know. Could be a fuel indicator. This will be his final run. Less than a lap remaining of fuel right now as he absolutely sends it through Diagonal 1. Able to control the car through Diagonal 2. Now the run to the hairpin, that orange bollard on the right. Just after that, slamming on the brakes, easing the car into the corner, focusing on exit. Some drivers short shifting up to third like Scotty did there. Waited a bit more than some would, but able to maintain that traction in the Williams. Looking to put car 93 in the top 10, or 130.264 is the time that he needs to beat if he wants an improvement in time. 128.940 if he wants an improvement in places. How far up on his delta is he? 8 tenths up. He'll be looking to find even more in this chicane. He needs about 5 tenths through here to beat his teammate. Daniel Starr won't improve. Martin won't improve. Verk won't improve. So P9 potentially, which should possibly turn into P10. But Scotty, he's able to make a big improvement. 7.2 tenths, but not able to gain another position. And Scotty will start provisionally from P12. This is the man to watch, though. He has something to prove. He doesn't have a good banker that he can rely on. Does he choose to send it, or does he choose to go conservative and set a decent lap time that might get him top 7? Or, as I said, does he go all out for pole position? We will ride on board with one of the Aston Martins here. Sir Joshy is in front, a 10th up through Sector 1. That is what you like to see from Sir Joshy. Zox a little bit too far back for a tow. Qualifying is over. No more lap times will be set as Daniel Starr pulls into the pit lane. Sir Joshy leading Zox, punching a hole. I'm sure he would like to be a little closer if that were to happen. But he now prepares for the final attack, gearing up for the chicane already, running wide on Spoon, and now it is flat out until the Casio Triangle in about 10-15 seconds time. Through that left-hander, up 1.5 tenths for Sir Joshy. At the moment, he would be on pole. How far is Zox up? Bit too late to tell. Sending it into the chicane, hopping over the curbs, making the track as short as possible. Now sticking to the right. I thought I saw Zox in the gravel at 27.1 from Sir Joshy, a 27.264 from Zox. That makes it a provisional Aston Martin 1-2. Mash Jr. won't improve. What can Websy do? He is up 2 tenths. That would put him into P2. What can Websy do? Sticking close. P2, 2.5 tenths. Not able to beat Sir Joshy, though. Sir Joshy claims pole position unless Finns can pull something out of the bag. Coming into the chicane now, he'll get the best of the track conditions up into third so he can get that traction, sticking to the right, making it nice and short. P5 for Finns, a 27.420. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is qualifying. Sir Joshy from Websy, from Zox, from Mash Jr., from Finn, from Farmer Sam, from KLX, from Apollo Pepsi, from Aussie 2K Goat, from Verk, from Martin in P11, from Nat Hummer in that Mercedes, P13 and 14 for Daniel Starr and Scotty in the Williams, Cam in P15 not setting lap time, and Keith Respondak serving his qualifying ban in P16. But that is your qualifying order for tonight's race. 16 drivers will take part. Sir Joshy from pole, Websy starting as high as he has started. He's qualified higher, but he has been relegated to the back on quite a few occasions. Mash Jr. In P4. It's Aston Martin V-Carb, and then Red Bull, the fifth wheel of Finns, looking to spoil the party for everyone as we prepare to start the race. Okay, we'll test now. Yep, okay, we are back. We will await to see what strategy the drivers will choose. The Aston Martins and the V-Cubs will be looking to work together. But we have 2 lights, 3 lights, 4 lights, 5 lights. It is lights out and away we goes. Sir Joshy and Websy both not getting away too well. Zox getting away quite well, looking to send it around the outside of Websy, forced to tuck back into P2. Farmer Sam on the inside of Fins there, looking to gain early track position. Now forced around the outside of turn 3, forced to stick back in as Apollo Pepsi shuts the door on Calix, relegates him back to P8, and movement absent in the first lap, except Keith Respondak, already having gained 3 positions up into P13. Verk, the big faller on lap 1, down at 4 positions. Medium, hard, medium, the strategy around here. But it is still Sir Joshy from Websy, from Zox, from Mash Jr., from Fins to round out your top 5 as Fins looking to the inside for a move. Oh, look at that dive bomb from Keith Respondak. This is how he's gaining those positions side by side with Nat Hammer. Forced on the outside, nearly banged off track contact between the Kick Sauber and the Aston Martin, but Keith Respondak finding himself in P11 with time to gain as he goes off, able to maintain it though. We saw some drivers slide like Fins when that happened, but he now has a big delta to catch up to HRT Martin in the top 10, but it is still Sir Joshy from Websy to round out this final lap, and still, unless we see a Websy move at the final chicane, but we do not. Only 1 DRS zone on this track, and it's coming up now. We won't have DRS until lap 2. The DRS detection point and speed trap pretty much in the same position directly after 130 hours. Sir Joshy taking 91.6 seconds to complete that first lap. Pretty good pace from Sir Joshy. But we await to see what challenge Websy has to offer. He's only 2/10 off Sir Joshy now, staying nice and close to the Aston Martin, looking at that Valvoline sponsor, and he'll be wanting to change the tide. He'll be wanting Sir Joshy to be looking at that Cash App sponsor on his rear wing, but Sir Joshy so strong through this part of the track as he gains, but Websy a bit more through the Degners, maybe running slightly higher, maybe slightly lower wings. We'll have to see how that pans out in the eventual battle for the lead. Keith Respondak still 6/10 off, 7/10 off Martin. He should get DRS barring any major mistakes, but he won't want to be the one to break the train, because when that train is broken, it could be goodbye to your race. It's not as effective around here with only 1 DRS zone, but that DRS is still extremely strong, especially with high wings here at Suzuka with all the S's, the hairpin, spoon curve, 130R, the Casio triangle, Degner. All those corners require extremely high downforce, and look how close Websy is, practically pushing Sir Joshy through the chicane. He's gone a much better line through there though, gaining some tenths back. But Websy will now have DRS as Fins sets the fastest lap. Farmer Sam directly behind him though. Websy moving to the right for the first overtake in for the lead of this race as Cam finds himself causing yellow flags at the back. Whether that was contact or driver error, we are yet to see, but Websy takes the lead. Look at that camera angle. Sir Joshy relegated to P2. He'll be looking to work together with Zox as Fins currently holds the fastest lap. A lot of Constantina affecting, just not going back out. Everyone's squishing up. The pressure is building, and look how close. Cam's binned it again. Let's have a look. Oh. Tracks on your left. I don't think this is a particularly enjoyable one for GLX Cam, finding himself at the back, but we'll focus back on the battle for the lead. We see a bit of side-by-side action. Fins on the inside into Spoon Curve, forcing Mash Jr. off the track. Could that be in the steward's room? Possibly Mash Jr. losing 2 positions on track for the time being, however, and Farmer Sam will be quite happy with that. No disbenefit for the Haas team principal as he moves up into P5. Could be P4 post-race, depending on what the stewards say about that SFR Fins move. but Finn's already got his sights set on the next target of Zox. He's right on his bumper outside the exit. He's looking to spoil that Aston Martin party, but Zox using some of that overtake. He still has DRS on his teammate. Speaking of his teammate, back to the right for the lead of the race. This could be the procession that we will see for the next 23 laps of the Suzuka International Circuit. Sir Joshi back in the lead and is Max Jr. got relegated to P6, but it would have been 2x2 once again. Finn's still right on the bumper of Zox, so practically pushing him through Sector 1. We'll have to see how he fares in Degna 1, catching up a little bit, braking a little bit earlier than in qualifying, as you'd expect. A lot more fuel, less optimal tyres. In fact, let's have a look at tyres. Everyone on mediums except the who was on the hards. Maybe that's why he fell so quickly at the start, but we see a lot less overtaking now. Kiefer Spondak is out of DRS here. That is not what the Kicksauer driver wanted. He's made a good recovery from P16, but does he have damage? No, he just ran wide there. But Kiefer Spondak out of DRS, that separates the top 10, and unless we see a safety car, we might never see him back in. We'll have to see, is he burning? No, he's got no battery left to burn with, neither does Daniel Starr, in all in an effort to try to stick with them as, contact at the Casio Triangle. Martin sending it, or not really sending it, just overshooting it a little, tapping Aussie 2K go on the rear, and that could be the lifeline that Kiefer Spondak needed. We'll have to see how he can catch up. But that DRS is so potent and powerful, and he doesn't have much battery to work with either. We might see him recharge and make another assault, but for now he will be forced to stay in P11. In the meantime, we see Cam sliding around, but the more important event, Lebsy taking the lead, and Zox still holding that P3 position. But not much action through this middle part of the track. I thought I saw a orange dot going sideways on the bridge, but that's just Cam being half a lap down on the rest of the field. But we will stick with Lebsy. What can he make happen? Maybe defending the lead of this race. Already looking at Sir Joshi, heading for a move into 130. He's got so much overspeed. Lebsy must have made a mistake, because look how close everyone is. You could throw a blanket over them as Finn's looking for a move around the outside, going deep, getting the move done on Zox, moving up into the podium positions. P3 for the Red Bull, only able to muster P6 on the grid, but he is using his race pace to his advantage, making the overtakes count as Sir Joshi now down the inside at turn 1. Lebsy trying to hold it around the outside, but he has to stay potent in that P2 position. SFR Finns up into P3, and that disrupts things for the Aston Martin team back at Enstone or Silverstone or wherever they're based. It's one of the two. I think it's Enstone for Alpine and Silverstone for Aston Martin, but we'll move on. 1 and 4. They've gone from 2 and 3 to 1 and 4. Whether that's beneficial or not, it's up to you. But Farmer Sam having a look at Zox, maybe a mediocre exit out of Degna 2 for the Aston Martins. Farmer Sam trying to get a better one, but just applies too much power too quickly. 50 seconds into the lap outside of the hairpin and gets a bit sideways, forced to tuck back into the Zox's slipstream, heading up to Spoon 1. But look how close this group in front is. We'll have a look from the rear wing of Sir Joshi. Once again, do we see Finns go for another move, or does he stay still like he did the laps before? Last lap pouncing on Zox's lack of awareness, but no, just staying behind. Maybe trying to get Sir Joshi on this DRS straight, as Sir Joshi's got a very poor exit. Finns is only 3/10 off Sir Joshi. We could see a double overtake here as he goes looking down the inside. Does he make the move? No, he just decides to stick back. Sir Joshi falling into P3. At one stage, They had a P2 and 3. Now they're down to P3 and 4. And Finns is rising like a rocket through this field. He's gained 4 positions already. And you have to say, he would have to be your pick for driver of the day at this rate. 3 positions up. Keith Respondek, as we predicted, he's fallen quite far off. 5 positions up, but I think he just picked off some easy ones on lap 1. He has not made much of a move since then. As I noticed Cam is getting very close to being lapped. I'm not sure what he is doing, but the thing is, points down to P15. So 1 DNF and Cam gets some free points. I'm sure he will be on board with that. Maybe a fastest lap as well. Recharging battery for that, possibly. But once again, Sir Josh's teammate Zox under pressure from Farmer Sam in that Haas. He's less than a second, or just about a second, off the leader. That just shows how close this pack is. As Lebsy P1, Finns and Sir Joshi quite close together heading into the Casio Triangle, but they... is that contact between the 2 teammates? I see a bollard flying. That might have been a warning, and it looked like contact between the 2 Aston Martins, but look how close Farmer Sam is making a move for P4. They both have DRS and ERS, but Farmer Sam getting a teammate from Sir Joshi, forced on the inside, Zox on that slower outside line, and the Haas team principal moving up into P4. His sights now set on Sir Joshi in position 3, looking to claim that final podium spot in what has not been a good race for Aston Martin so far, as both their drivers have fallen 2 positions from their original starting point. Their race pace obviously not as strong as their qualifying pace. As we can see, the proof is quite evidently in the pudding. As I mentioned earlier, both of them falling 2 positions. Sir Joshi from P1 to P3 and Zox from P3 to P5. But look at Websy falling off Finns a little bit. Finns up in the lead from a P5 start. That's exactly what he would want, as GLX Cam could give him DRS here. Is that what Finns needs to get away from Lebsy here? We'll have to have a look, of course. We will have a look, as Cam needs to get right out of the way here. Could end up holding Finns up. We'll see how it goes. I think he'll get out of the way on the main straight. But look at that. Finns with the DRS. Aussie Tuka coming into the pit lane. Maybe his tyres are short, and that's 10 seconds for the Ferrari team principal. As we see a yellow flag. Is that someone retiring? No, I think that's Cameron getting out of the way, which is very respectable. But these mediums are starting to hurt now. 30%, 35%, as high as 40% for some drivers, as Farmer Sam has gotten up into P3 in the meantime, as we're focusing on a slow McLaren in front of the leaders. But Sir Joshi and Zox now not in a very strong position. P4 and P5 for the 2 Aston Martin drivers. They'll be looking to get back. Mash Jr. has been relatively stagnant since that move that relegated him from P4 down to P6, maybe biding his time, recharging battery. Look in the difference of the 2 batteries. Mash Jr. with a nearly full tank of battery, and the 2 Aston Martins in front of him only on half. But look at Websy charging his battery up, preparing for another assault into turn 1. I don't think it'll be a very good defense from Finns, though. It'll be as good as he can muster up, but it's not easy to defend those easy DRS passes into turn 1. Could even be under threat from Farmer Sam, depending on how much battery Farmer Sam has and is willing to use. Not using enough of it, though. I think he'll just stay stagnant in that P3 position. Finns falling back down into P2, as we see Zox pitting, obviously not happy with his tyres, as there's some drivers on this grid who are nearing 50%, 43% is the highest I'm seeing. We'll have a look what his worst worn tyre is. 45.1 on the fronts for the driver with the worst worn tyres. I won't spit their name out, but just putting it out there, is Verk has gone up into P9. These hards aging quite well compared to the medium runners, so maybe it was a good idea to be running them first. Maybe a safety car could help work out massively here as we see a yellow flag. How about... Oh, no. Apollo Pepsi. Or is that... Yeah, that's Apollo. Oh, no. That's just a virtual though, not a full, not a full. Someone clip that. I'm talking about the man on the Lakers, oh yeah. As this virtual safety car actually does stagnate a few things. As Websy will hold position over Finns, I believe. Okay. If someone's able to let me know how my mic's going, that would be greatly appreciated. As Cam gets 10 seconds for speeding in the pit lane and pits and quits like a little nerd. And that's not what McLaren needed. Their one and only driver, pit and quitting. Sorry. But this is now not a good position for the top two. Everyone has got a free pit stop on them. And, well, how free is it? 20 seconds-ish? Let's have a look at the lead gap. 20 seconds. How long is a pit stop around here? I think it's 28. So they've saved 8 seconds under safety car. We'll have to see how it pans out for Finn's, Mash Jr., friends and family. But you'd imagine you'd see a response from Finn's this lap. But Zox already moving up on Martin. We'll go off board here, have a look as Martin prepares that switchback. He'll be forced around the outside though, which is notably slower, and now no longer alongside. He'll just tuck back in behind Zox as Zox unfortunately pinning just before that safety car, losing a couple of positions. But let's see, yes, the leaders are pitting. Finns and Mash Jr. both filing into the pit lane as Mash Jr. very sideways enough to hit the pit lane speed limit sign, as Finns is now duly on his way out of the pit lane. If only you could see where his car is. Well behind Verk, who stayed out, understandably. And then he's lost a decent amount of time to the boys in front. Whether that was undercut or not, or whether it was VSC, we are yet to find out. But we will have to wait and see how this pans out. Seems like Vince has lost about 4 seconds to Farmer Sam, who now leads, obviously, and that DRS pass on Websy. Quite beneficial for Farmer Sam here. He could get his first AUSF1 win of the season. Verk only 4 seconds ahead. He is still a pit stop down. As everyone is now on the optimal race tyre, the hards. The mediums are wearing quite quickly, whereas Verk's hards still only on about 30%. 12 laps. 12 laps from now we'll be on lap 24, so I think we'll still see some relatively high tyre wear, but it won't be nearly as high as what the medium rates were. But we still see Farmer Sam from Websy, from Sir Joshy. Sir Joshy's still hanging in there. His teammate Zox, the big disbenefit of that virtual safety car, as Mash Jr. also comes out in a similar position, slightly higher up, however, than Zox. Whether that was him fighting with Set Tommy, now known as HRT Barton, as an unknown, as we see Websy pass Farm Sam for the lead of the race. Sir Joshy once again just sitting behind, unable to do anything. And no moves into turn 1 by the looks of it. Actually, no, apologies. HRT Martin got Mash Jr. As I looked at the map, I just missed that. But quite interesting as we now see a field spread out a little bit. We've got a lot of 2 3 4-car trains at the head and rear, all throughout the field, as they seem to be sticking together. And maybe the DRS is quite influential. I said it might not be as powerful given there's only one DRS zone around this track, but might not be as powerful as we once thought. But Verk, look at how much time he is losing to Websy. Fresh tyres are a very big advantage around Suzuka by the looks of it. Farmer Sam will regain that provisional first position. Very well could be the actual first position, depending on how long Verk extends for, as we have, or we are about to reach the halfway point of the race, lap 14. As Websy fast up of the race at 29.988. That's only 2.5 seconds off the qualifying time, and you'd imagine that's one of the I think it's one of the bigger deltas around here, given how much downforce you need, how much the soft tyres come into play. But press your predictions now. Does Verk fall into Websy's DRS this lap, or does he give his DRS to Farmer Sam, or does he box and give no one his DRS? I think he'll stay out a little bit longer. But we now see Verk actually holding his ground. He's only lost a 10th since the end of the S's, so I think that's where these fresh tyres are coming into play, and I say that now and he's lost another 10th. But that is besides the point, guys. Don't worry about what he does now. Worry about what he did before I say that in the context of why I said that. That's what we worry about. That's what we worry about. But Finn's moving up into P5. He's fallen off the lead a little bit, possibly catching up as Verk comes into pit lane. He will have to endure 13 hard laps on those medium tyres. Can I take a glimpse? No, I was too late. I wanted to see what his tyre wear was. Well, that's unfortunate. But we will move on. This podium looks like it's going to be Farmer Sam, Websy and Sir Joshy, but the order could literally be any one of those three on that top step. It is could it be literally anyone out of those three who find themselves on the top step, the second step, or the lowest step of the podium. But I think there is no mistake in saying these three will not be on the podium unless Kalex and Finns are able to pull off a miracle, but it's not looking too likely. As Kalex must have made a major mistake because he's been overtaken by Finns into, like, before Spoon, near where the MotoGP chicane is. But we digress, we move on. Farmer Sam has built out a gap to Websy. Websy should still be able to conquer it with DRS, but he should is the keyword, not he will. 5.5 tenths. Is that a big enough gap for Farmer Sam to hold the lead of the race? Whether he wants to hold the lead of the race is also a question in itself. Is there any strategy yet as Websy stays in P2 as they go through Seb Vettel corner, now towards Danny Rick Albon corner, and through the rest of the S's as it gets very windy and squealy. However, we move on. Farmer Sam still holding the lead of the race from Websy, from Sir Joshy. Finn's up into P4. He might drop Kalex here. I think Kalex is holding him back a little bit. I'm sure he'd love to be able to trade DRS with him. As that might be a warning for Farmer Sam. It looked like he just drove off track. It's quite weird. I'm sure Finns would love to DRS swap with Kalex and catch back up, but I just don't think they are fast enough to do that at this rate. That's Studio P6. conducting a train that contains Zox and HRT Martin, Aussie 2K Goat, on his own, a one-carriage train in P9. Daniel Starr, Keith Respondek, quite close together, P10 and P11. Verk, P12 on fresh mediums. It'll be interesting to see how he comes back through the field. Apollo Pepsi, P13 on 5 lap-old hards after bringing out that virtual safety car. Nat Hammer, P14. Scotty, P15, bringing up the rear of the field, just leaving the hairpin now, as you can see. But Farmer Sam, not as far away from Lebsy at the moment. Lebsy's sure to overtake him, drawing side by side down the right-hand side. Can Sir Joshy get the move done? No, just a bit too far back. Lebsy takes the lead of the race. Sir Joshy staying in P3. Farm Sam falling down to P2 as they are now very close together. Sir Joshy is literally pushing Farmer Sam through the S's. They're spacing out a bit now. But Leipzig also building a tiny bit of a gap. 4 tenths already on this lap. Could this be the lap where they managed to break away? Who am I kidding? That's not going to happen. But look at Finn's gaining. He's gained 4 tenths already. So, was the sign to push? Was the sign not to DRS trade with KLX the move? We'll have to see as he keeps on gaining on the Ferrari second driver taken with pick 2. But we'll just have to find out. It is still an extremely good result for the Red Bull driver. P4 from P6 is, I'm sure he'll be happy with that. I think he knows he could have gone faster on that. But 3.5 seconds, staying stagnant since the end of the S's. Not much time to be found outside of Sector 1 here at Suzuka. But Farmer Sam 4 tenths off Lebsy. That's in overtaking range. Whether he wants to be in overtaking range is the question, as he stays right on Lebsy's toe. Wants to get right up and personal, but not in front. He wants to be staring at the Cash Up sponsor, giving it all the airtime on his medal TV footage. But Finn's dropping off a little bit just without that DRS. KLX is catching up, but he's concertinaing back out through the first and middle sector, unable to stick with Finn's, with his raw pace through there on those tiny bit younger tyres. I believe that's about, KLX doesn't have his data on, so I can't see. But let's have a look at another battle for a second. Daniel Star, he's dropped massively off Burke right on Keith Respondek's rear. But something to note, even though it's only been 3 laps, 4% per lap for Verk on those mediums. He'll slice through the field, but then he'll start to plunge like a rock back down it. He'll have to hold on to those medium tyres. Maybe a late safety car could be the play for Verk, as Aussie 2K Goat still the only driver with a penalty, and it's for speeding in the pit lane. A very clean race being run by these drivers, as Lebsy once again leads Farmer Sam and Sir Joshy onto the main straight. Farmer Sam closer. Is he forced into the overtake? Yes, he goes to the left around the outside. First time we've seen that today, instead of going to the inside, but he is still able to claim the racing line well before turn 1. Lebsy slotting back into P2, and Sir Joshy starting to grow impatient in P3. He wants to be in that top 2 trading DRS, but what Sir Joshy's calling card might be is taking advantage when they start to play DRS games. If they close their rear wing, chuck it on none, and just wait for the other person to get to the corner so they don't have to overtake them, stay in second, Sir Joshy can capitalise on that and get into second. We'll have to see how it works in practice, but that could be an idea for the British Racing Green car. But look at Finn's gaining. He's gained nearly a second since he really started to push, dropping KLX. KLX still sticking in there, but I think DRS is allowed to help to that. And speaking of the devil, he's just dropped out of that 1 second range. He really needs to catch back up to Finn's if he wants that DRS, but unable to do so. He needs the battery dump on this straight. Is he doing it? He was. He's now within that 1 second, so I think that's what KLX needed. He doesn't want to fall back towards Mash Jr. behind if we can see him. I don't think we can. So, now, Websy, does he start to play the DRS games? Only 7-8 laps to the finish. You have to remember, there's no DRS zone on the final lap. So you have to make your move heading into the final lap. You need to be leading at the very start of it. You don't want to be in second on lap 27. You want to be on lap 26. So, apologies, I'm just going to check something here. But okay, we are back. Look at Finn's gaining 4 tenths since we last checked on him. And once again, Kalex out of DRC, and he might not have the battery to catch back up with. I believe he's on hot lap looking at that rise and fall of his battery. But Websy still leading. He got the move done on Farmer Sam, and Farmer Sam, he's quite far back. Whether that's a purposeful strategy to not overtake Websy, we are yet to find out. But Websy will be looking to take this one home. Maybe if Farmer Sam falls out of DRS, that could be something for him. But Sir Joshi would be able to work with Farmer Sam to bridge it back up. So the question is, I reckon, does Finn's come into play? He was able to last through the field in those DRS trains earlier. He could very well do the exact same thing this time around. He got screwed over by that virtual safety car. Being in first, having to make the call, do you stay out or pit? And no one else agreed with him except Mash Jr. He decided to stay out. Everyone else pitted, and he just had to make that call. But he now has a chance for his revenge. He comes... what am I even saying? Sorry. I just saw TDK get offered 12 mil by the Saints. But look at Finn's. He's falling back now. That is the delta to watch. The interval from third to fourth. Finn's needs to gain 1.2 seconds in the next 3 laps, realistically. 4 tenths a lap. When you think about it like that, it's not that hard. But in a daunting environment such as Tier 1 with drivers like Websy, Farmer Sam and Sir Joshi towing each other along, it becomes a lot harder as Farmer Sam is a lot closer to Websy than he was on previous laps. Could be a move happening here for the lead of the race from the Haas team principal, or does he just sit in P2 like he has been and wait for his moment? 5 tenths off, losing a bit of time through that. Through that chicane, and he decides to stick in P2. This is where the strategy comes into play. Suzuka doesn't induce the most overtakes, but it does induce strategy. Also, is that Aussie Chugo Goat having a major fall off? Keith Respondek possibly gaining his first position since that very first lap. Maybe donning the number 7, so he's chosen that. It's not like it's a default number. Look how far Farmer Sam is off now. I think he wants to stay in that 6/10 range. It's close enough to keep Sir Joshi behind with DRS, but far enough to not overtake Websy. And I think that's what he wants up until lap 26, going on lap 27, where he wants to overtake down that front straight. And the cards are now firmly with Farmer Sam. He has the pocket aces, and he has to wait and see, does Websy bluff or does Websy fold? We are yet to see, we await to see what happens. Running out of words here. But now only 3 tenths, but up to 4 tenths, 5 tenths through the chicane. He very well could be purposely backing off through the chicane, which I believe is perfectly fine as long as you don't impact any other drivers by slamming on the brakes. But DRS open, he's sticking right behind Websy, possibly sticking into none. We saw a flashing light. And are we back in medium? I'm very curious to see how Farmer Sam is going with this strategy. Or Websy currently in position or one. He is on the defense. Farmer Sam on the offense, and Sir Joshy, the third party, looking to spoil the fun. What can the Aston Martin do? He's been pretty stagnant all race, but look at that. Sorry. We see Farmer Sam backing off. Does Sir Joshy seize his opportunity? Just have to toss up the fact that overtaking costs you time. And time equals money. And how much money does Sir Joshy have saved up as Farmer Sam catches back up? I think he's running slightly lower wings, or maybe he's using a bit more battery, but he is back up with Websy. And this race is slowly falling out of Sir Joshy's grasp. He might have had a chance earlier, but it looks like he's going to have to settle for P3, maybe even P4 if Finns catches up in time. But Websy once again leading us on lap 23, heading into lap 24. We've got 24 on 25, 25 on 26, and 26 on 27. Left after this straight, 3 DRS zones. Well, 4 DRS zones. This is the 4th last DRS zone of the race. And you have to ponder, when does somebody use that DRS to their advantage, use the drag reduction, and overtake that lead car, as Sir Joshy once again very highly caught up. It looks like Farmer Sam's backing off. Similar strategy to what we've seen before, maybe not directly in Tier 1, but we've definitely seen it in other leagues, in other tiers. Reference DRS Tier 3. Wait, no, that didn't have a stream. Not the point. Farmer Sam purposely backing off to stay behind. He wants the DRS going in that final DRS zone of the race. That final full DRS zone. There's technically a tiny bit of DRS on lap 27, but it won't do anything unless they're already side by side coming out of the Casio triangle, as Sir Joshy's backed off again. KLX, I can invite him. Sorry guys, but we will head back to regular programming and look how close Sir Joshy is. This could be the lap for the move, as Finn, he's nearly back into the game. We'll have to see what Sir Joshy does. He's gaining, but is he gaining enough? Farmer Sam's gaining on Websy, but Sir Joshy unable to penetrate through, having to sit back behind as Websy retains the lead of the race. But I think we're going to start to get to a point. Sorry, lost my train of thought. Look at Finn's, he's caught back up, and Sir Joshy is now only a tenth, 2 tenths off Farmer Sam, as all Finn's off into the gravel. That's his podium challenge is done. He will be forced into P4 for the remainder of this one, as Kalex still in AI. Speak of the devil, he is back. Has Martin... KLX's AI has had a tangle with HRT Martin. What's his AI doing? Don't hit Verk, bro. That is extremely weird. I've never seen that. I've been in league racing for about a year now, and that I've not seen that one before. But this is the penultimate lap of the race now. This is where we see driver's mate as Sir Joshy down the inside, in through turn 1 and turn 2. Can he get the traction around the outside turn 3? No, there's contact between himself and Farmer Sam, and Sir Joshy forced back down into P3. He looked for the move on the inside turn 1, not left space by Farmer Sam. That door was firmly closed after a stern exchange from the two, but Websy still leads, and Farmer Sam now in the box seat, unless Sir Joshy feels like reporting him. But in that case, it's probably Websy's win. But Farmer Sam This is where he has to get close. This is where he has to act, but he can't burn too much of his battery. All three drivers except the top two drivers both have a decent amount of battery save. Farmer Sam having to use some though. He'll get Slipstream and DRS though, which I think will outweigh 30% of batteries. HRT Martin and Keith Respondek getting 3 seconds of time penalties at the exact same time, and Farmer Sam is now firmly on the rear of Websy. This is where Farmer Sam will make his move for the lead, maybe into the chicane where he'll get there, but Sir Joshy down the inside. Can he force his way around the outsiders, focusing on that top two battle? But Sir Joshy wants a say in matters. This is where Farmer Sam has to make his move for the lead of the race. He's been cooking this up for ages, but Sir Joshy has caught him by surprise, and Websy leads on the final lap. We could see a move into the chicane, but now it's Websy's race to lose in 3 corners. This has changed from Farmer Sam having all the cards, from him having one, from him having the pocket aces, to it going into Websy's deck. He now leads on the final lap, and there is no DRS to catch up with. Farmer Sam would have used all his battery trying to stay in the lead, and Websy still has a fair amount left in store. Farmer Sam's only object of attack that he has over Websy now is Slipstream, and how much that will help him out, we do not know. Websy leading us home on the final lap, heading towards Spring Curve, and that Hummer getting out of the way. He wanted to go for fastest lap, a little bit too far back to do that. This will now be his final lap of the race, but Websy leading by 5.1 seconds, or 0.51 seconds. Farmer Sam now trying to catch desperately back up, but he's just slipping. It's just slipping out of his grasp. Websy using the overtake. He's now 5 tenths ahead, and it's just all too much for Farmer Sam to try to grasp back. 27 laps of racing comes down to this. Websy around the final corner towards the line. We'll see some jerks to the steering wheel, and Websy finishes P1, Farmer Sam P2, Sir Joshy P3, Finns P4, Mash Jr. P5, and it will be Zox in P6. HRT Martin should finish P7 on track, but he'll fall to P8 as Verk with the alternate strategy proving to be going well, as we see a yellow flag from Keith Respondek on the back straight. And we'll have a look. Penalties. I believe HRT Martin had a couple. Verk up 3 positions, so was HRT Martin. Keith Respondek up 4, Farmer Sam up 4, probably my driver of the day as Aussie 2K Goat crossing the line in P11. He'll slide down to P12 though after that penalty. Downstar P13 coming around that final corner, and Scotty will round us out. So, Verk driver of the day in game. That's where he'll go to. I don't think it particularly matters given there's no points. But Websy atop the podium. Farmer Sam P2. Sir Joshy P3. We'll scroll through the results so everyone can see the full extent. Couple penalties. HRT Martin, Keith Respondek, the only drivers with track limits penalties. Aussie 2K Go with a infringement of the pit lane speed limit. And it's not a large race director either. But Websy P1 from grid position 2, a 29.9 for the fastest lap of the race. He will take home a fair chunk of points. he will take home 30 points for the win and 2 points for the fastest lap. That is 32 points for Websy. But that will be our stream for tonight. Thanks, guys. I'm unable to conduct interviews for personal reasons, but thank you for tuning in. Thank you to all the admins and staff who put the work in behind the scenes. Thank you to the stewards who actually had to deal with about 20 incidents last week after rain in Tier 1 and a bit of terrorism in Tier 2. But thank you for watching this stream, seeing Websy take home that win for the VCARB team. Mash Jr. also a strong result. But make sure to tune in 7:30 on Tuesday and Wednesday for Tier 2 and Tier 3 respectively. If those get streams, there'll be even more exciting action like there was today. Strategy will once again be a big part of everything. But we will see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in. We've got a stream locked in for tomorrow, so hopefully they don't end up becoming a late out. But make sure to tune in for that. We'll see if we can get a stream organised for Wednesday. But have a good night. See you guys tomorrow for Tier 2 around the same track, around Suzuka. Make sure to tune in. Mozza will be your commentator. 7:30 AEDT Tuesday night, Tier 2. Be there or be square.